Yeah, yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. You're sharing the screen, ma'am?
I'll share.
Yes, ma'am. I'll start. A very good morning to all the participants present here. I once again warmly invite you all to the day 7 of this webinar series. A webinar on entrepreneurship development is being organized by our college, Padma Shri Institute of Management and Sciences, Bengaluru. It is also supported by Kanti Lab Services Private Limited, Kanti Suites. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce the resource person for today's session. That is our dear principal, ma'am, Dr. Anuradha, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. I welcome you to this session, ma'am.
Very good morning. Very good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am has completed her PhD in Cambridge in Krishna Devaraya University from Anantapur. She started her career as a scientist and lab in charge in Dr. Reddy's Laboratory Private Limited. She worked as a senior scientist and head in Sami Labs, Bengaluru. Later, she started her own company, Rishi Herbal Technologies Private Limited, in the year 2004. She is also the director of PIMS Research Center and Biotech Finishing School from 2011 to till date. She has the academic and research experience in nutraceuticals, medicinal plants, research, and plant biotechnology. She worked with national and international agencies for developing novel nutraceutical products for human and veterinary use. She is the BOS chairman and BOE at the Karnataka Open University. She is also a BOE member at JSS College for Women, Mysore and MLACAW Bangalore, and BOS member at Dayananda Sagar University. She is a member of the Academic Council from Bangalore University. She has organized many seminars and conferences at the national levels. She has participated and presented various research papers at the international and national and state level seminars, conferences, and workshops. And also, Madam has attended many national seminars as a resource person. She has filed patents for many of her research, and one among them was US patent. She has completed many projects, and ongoing projects are funded by DST, KBITS, GOK, Department of IT and BT and ST of Government of Karnataka. She has published many of her research papers in reputed journals. Now, I request dear Principal Ma'am to kindly present her talk on principles and practices of writing project proposals and reports. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nutana, for your nice introduction. It was an elaborate introduction. As most of the participants know me earlier, I just get into the talk directly. It's a very important area whenever you want to do your higher education, your research, or your entrepreneurship, or to have a startup. First thing what will come into anybody's mind is money. That is the first thing which anybody need to pursue their research career or a job or anything, if they are additional to the whatever job role they are having. For example, you have been appointed as a scientist, but you want to do some other passionate research work to identify a ligand for COVID neutralization. If you are thinking about that, if your company's mandate is not that, you need a lot of money for doing that, definitely you need some grant. And this grant and schemes, there are plenty across the world. There are plenty of grants and schemes, and it is a small step for a giant leap. Definitely, I would like to proudly say that our institution, with my students especially, they never spent a single pie on their research work. Everything is being covered in grants and schemes. Generally, research is a very expensive thing. whether it may be an entrepreneurship or a startup or a research project or a paper publication or patenting. For everything, you need money. I will just give you in nutshell how to secure these grants and schemes and how to, once you are securing it, you need to really, you are accountable. You need to submit a report. How to do this, I'll be giving you within 45 minutes of your time, and later we can have a discussion. Today, we are going to know about what is a grant, why grant, what are the various types of grants, and what is the process of securing grants. Once you secure the grants, how to implement and how to manage the grants. And finally, question and answer session. What is a grant? In a nutshell, it is a sum of money given by a government or any other organization for a particular purpose. Whether it may be creation of AIDS awareness, or it may be conserving environment, or it may be protecting owls and vultures, or it may be running a mobile telemedicine unit, or it may be a basic research purpose, how a cell is absorbing certain nutrients selectively. What is the scientific basis of that? It need not be sky is the limit. Anything under the sky can be done with money given by either government or any other agency. It need not be a government or any other agency for a particular purpose. That is called as grant. What are the other words you listen when you talk about
Who do you
grant?
want?
It can be subsidy.
Shanta ma'am.
It can be subvention. It can be a grant appropriation in aid. It can be an assistance. It can be grant in aid. It can be subsidized. It can be allotment. There are various words. It can be a scheme. Grant maybe sometimes it is a fully funded. That means 100% they will give you as a fund. You need not repay it. Or you may get a subsidy. That means you invest 70%, I'll give you 30%. Sometimes you invest 30%, I will give 70% grant. That 70% is not, you need not repay it. There might be some other types like soft loans or a loan which is given with a very minimal interest. In that 50% of whatever you have spent, for example, you start a business. When you start a business, you take a grant from DBT or DST, BIRAC, whomever so it is. When you take it, after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, if you find the failure is inevitable, sometimes failure is success, is a stepping stone for the success. But initial days, when you fail, you may be not in a position to repay that grant, repay that loan, soft loan provided by the government. At that time, whatever you have spent towards the manpower, whatever you have spent towards the consumables will be waived off. Only the capital investment they will ask you back, that too in 10 years installment. That means monthly you might be paying some 10,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees. It is an excellent thing, but don't think that grant is for siphoning off the money of the government. Grant is for a cause. Grant is for a specific purpose, for a particular purpose. So whenever you are taking a grant, you need to have a clear-cut idea why and how you are utilizing the grant and how they make you accountable. You need to really give the reports and UCSC, whatever so it is. Again, there is an enormous, so many definitions are there for grant. Let us not waste our small time, whatever we have got, because it is a huge area. I can talk at least for 1 month, every day for 8 hours. That much is there in grants. Why I gained this much of knowledge and experience in grants is from my MSc, after my MSc, even during my MSc, I studied with government support. It is neither under the reserved category nor any other category. It is a meritorious category. Whatever I have studied, it is a meritorious category given to students, given to researchers, given to entrepreneurs. I secured grants for everything. And I till now, I would have completed more than 4 crores of grant, which has been given for my research. It is apart from my personal grants. It is, I'm talking about the institutional grants. I got my personal grants in many more. I secured Young Scientist grant, and I secured Women Scientist grant. I secured CSR UGC fellowship. Everything. If you really have the determination, from now, most of you might be in your post graduation. From now, you can secure grants and funds for entire career. You can secure up to your 60 years. You can retire with your grant money. You need not depend on anybody, but you have to do it in a, I told you again, it is not siphoning of the money. As soon as I started talking about the grant, maybe you will be taking paper and pen to note down which agency I need to apply, how to apply. See, these are all the things which you need to research and find out. It is based upon your necessity for what you need. Grants are non-repayable funds. You need not repay it. These are all the products by to one party, that is the party who apply for the grants, either maybe government department or a corporation or a fund or a foundation or a trust, because Infosys Foundation gives grants. Welcome Trust gives grants. Wipro gives grants. Many people, because they are forced to do this, because government has made mandatory as corporate social responsibility. In their profits, they have to keep this much of amount aside to encourage the society, because science and societal needs will be, you will have a long-term benefits in this. For example, Akshay Patra is giving afternoon midday meals. Who is funding that? They are implementing agency. Funders are various agencies. Even some part of the money comes from even US and other countries also. So it is a non-profit activity which is done for the benefit of the society and supported by government partly, public partly, and also private agencies partly, and also by NGOs, other philanthropists. Many state and central agencies together administer more than 1,000 grant programs annually. See the number, it is mind-boggling. 1,000 grant programs annually to provide funding for the areas science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. Do you know that people secured grants to construct an auditorium, to construct a women's hostel, to buy a vehicle to go to rural areas, to protect vultures, to protect snakes, to protect trees, to protect rare plants? These grants have been given by various agencies. There are many long-term and short-term societal concerns. First, let us know why anybody has to give this money free to somebody who are doing it. For example, this when AIDS is stuck, many people are not aware that how AIDS is spread to one person to other person. Awareness is very, very important to stop this notorious disease. All right. It is also caused by a virus, but it is being transmitted by fluids. It may be transmitted with the saliva or sperm, or it will transmit. It is sexually transmitted disease. If they don't have hygiene and if they don't maintain certain things, if they have they are very indisciplined, which happen at the lower strata of life. When it happens at that lower strata of life, this dangerous disease is spreading, and it is not only spreading to the people, it may be like a punishment to them who don't have this kind of discipline, but from mothers, innocent mothers are getting it, and from mothers it is getting into children. So what to do? You need to really create awareness to stop this particular disease. For that, what do you need? You need to go to villages, you need to rural areas, slums, and talk and tell them and distribute certain things, and all these things you need to do. And people, once they say that that person has got AIDS, they used to keep them aside. That all those things have to be stopped. It is not a taboo. If a child after birth, immediately after birth, through her mother or because of his father, and his mother would have got it, and later the child would have got it, at that time you cannot say that the child need to be abandoned. Somebody need to be there to take care of that child, to treat that child. In such a scenario, these grants will help a lot. So many philanthropic agencies for leprosy, for HIV/AIDS, even COVID-19. There are more than 3,000 children are left without parents in Karnataka alone. Both the parents expired because of this COVID-19. Who is responsible for that? Who is responsible for these children? What is going to be their future? And downtrodden, there are many downtrodden people. There are widows. There are people who are being abandoned just like that. For all those people, if you want to protect them, you need, first thing what you need is money. Where to get it? Maybe I may be very good, I want to share some money, but that is not sufficient. Or I want to find out a very, very wonderful drug for HIV AIDS. I have an idea, but I need a lab. I need chemicals. I need some manpower to do that. In such a scenario, I can depend on these grants. Grants can be given to educational services, awareness creation, environmental protection, basic scientific research. If you say that if benzene is in this particular shape or DNA is in hexagonal shape, what if DNA is in hexagonal shape or it is in like a thread, it is something like what for me, it is completely basic research, but based on that basic research, lot of applied research, even today's Covaxin or Covishield or any other vaccine is being developed with the knowledge which is being generated by the scientists in the basic research. So you need to fund the basic research and try to get good benefits out of it, which can be applied to the society in the later days. And infrastructure development. You need a lot of infrastructure. For example, you are having a wonderful lake, lot of biodiversity is there. If you don't develop that lake and protect that lake, this biodiversity will go. So what? As long as I'm fine, I don't mind the biodiversity. Even people are not worried about butterfly. You know, Butterfly Park has been established by DST by spending 160 crores in Bannerghatta National Park. I don't know how many people would have gone and seen that. You have to see that. They have developed wonderful, that is infrastructure. They are protecting the butterflies. Karnataka is known for that. And now we are getting anti-venom developing center in Electronic City, which has been funded by government of Karnataka and also certain funds from internationally and nationally. Why that anti-venom developing center is being placed in Karnataka? Because Karnataka is known for having dangerous, notorious cobras. Okay, for that, where do you get? You need a lot of money. Recently, one big thing has announced. Can anybody say? Can anybody type in the chat box quickly? Recently, one announcement has come by two people who are going to invest 460 crores to do clinical research and in a hospital come research center where it is going to come. Can anybody type in the chat box quickly so that we can go further? It has to be interactive. I don't want this thing to go waste. Yes? IISc, very good. In IISc, you are going to get a Bakshi Parthasarathi Hospital and Research Center. Why in IISc? Because if you want to develop a vaccine, doctors will not help you in developing vaccine. They will help you in administrating vaccine. For development of vaccine, you need people who are working in biochemistry, who are working in microbiology, who are working in virology, who are working in molecular biology, who are working in medicine, internal medicine. It is a teamwork. And you need so many people starting from bioinformatics lab to ending with the animal studies to everything you need. For such a thing, IISc is the best place because you have so many laboratories, so many scientists working there without any botheration. Their main aim and focus is only on research. So they invested 450 crores, biggest ever funding for IISc till the time of its inception. Grant can be secured for training and empowerment. I myself have secured a grant for medicinal plants cultivation, which I taught I went to village and went to identify the women farmers. And I told them, see, in a small patch, you grow 10 red sandalwood trees, 10 sandalwood trees. That may be a property which you are giving to your children. After 20 years, these 10 trees, it will not take much space. It will be a single row. And that single row trees can give, like you cannot construct a house, but this sapling will cost you around 20-30 rupees. Daily watering is required. After some time, that is also not required. It just grows on the rain fed. Each tree, you can sell it for 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. Imagine 10 trees. You plant it as the child is born immediately in your place, in your house, in your backyard. That kind of awareness somebody has to give. I have supplied saplings also, village to village I went. And this project has been funded by whom, you know? It is being funded by an UK agency, that is Rufford Foundation. It is there in UK. What is their botheration to protect a tree which is there in India? They look globally. They don't bother. Only our own country people need to be given money. That thing will not be there when you are securing grants. There are many such agencies which I'm going to discuss at the end of this talk. See, what are the various types of grants? There are international grants, national or state grants, or consortiums, or institutions or individuals. It need not be a single only government will give grants. No, it is not like international agencies. Just now I was telling to you that Rufford Foundation. I just online I submitted on my PhD plant. I mentioned that this red sandalwood need to be protected. It is an excellent plant. It need to be protected, conserved. It is becoming extinct. Maybe you might be knowing about this red sandalwood very well because it has been discussed in the recent hit movie called Pushpa. You would have seen in that. It is becoming extinct. Left, right, center, they are cutting the tree off. Every day there will be a news about red sandalwood in newspaper. If you take an Andhra paper or Tamil Nadu paper, every day there will be a news item that this red sandalwood, this much is being caught. Once you cut it, even if you catch it, what is the fun of it? There is no point. You have to protect. On one day, you may not get that red sandalwood only. It is pride of India, pride of Andhra Pradesh. The reason is it is the only endemic plant which will not grow anywhere else in the world. It grows only in this belt, which is Tamil Nadu belt and Andhra belt. Only in these areas, this plant is seen. These illiterate fellows, if they think that if they can get 1,000, 2,000 rupees by cutting the tree, they will do it. They will not bother. Who has to protect and conserve? You cannot go and hug the tree throughout the day and say you have your own business. What you have to do? You have to ask people to plant more and more, more and more. Plant it, left, right, center, every house, like Tulsi, let them have one red sandal. That's what I did in 2016, not after Pushpa. Before that only I did it. For that, Rufford Foundation, I applied a project. This plant is becoming extinct. It is red listed. It is threatened. It has been exploited by our own people. I want to create awareness in the villages surrounding this red sandalwood plant, and I want to supply saplings to them, and I want to tell them how to protect them in the initial days and raise these plants. For that, they have given just with one click of a button, they transferred 4.5 lakhs to me immediately for creating. They didn't even ask who we are. I have not seen their face. They have not seen my face. If you just go to Google and type red sandalwood Anuradha Rufford Foundation, you can get the complete report. You can get the complete report of that. See, like that in your area, there may be many things. That there is a project which has been given to our own Indians to protect vultures. You may not be knowing how vultures are getting extinct. There are people who are killing them, and we consume lot of, in Parsis, they have a one particular tradition. They will not cremate, they will not do anything. They will take onto the tallest point and throw the carcass so that these vultures can feed on that. In the ecosystem, to maintain the ecological web, they do that. But what will happen when they do that? These vultures feed on people who has consumed a lot of paracetamol, a lot of acetaminophen, and a lot of nemisulfide and all these things, and a lot of antibiotics. Vultures died with kidney failure. Can you imagine? Vultures died with kidney failure. So that somebody has to take care of this. They should stop, avoid that. They cannot avoid that. If they want to avoid that, you have to, it is connected to traditional religion. So what they did, they tried to tell to people, local people, if a person is not healthy, if a person has died with something else, he is on with a lot of these things, they are going to come out with a vulture park by conserving them. Project Tiger is a big project, and this has also been supported by government. And see, there is Welcome Trust. They give grant challenges. in this Welcome Trust, it is in $1 million. I'll say, don't get tempted for the money. Get tempted for the social cause, what you are going to work with. Here in Welcome Trust, they give millions of dollars. For what cause, to get rid of malnutrition in people. There were so many advertisements about this Welcome Trust. Every year they advertise. 1 year they advertise for iron deficiency. You have to come out with a solution. And if you tell that this is a solution, I want to test it and I want to transfer it to the society, they will give 100 crores. 100 crores. That is the limit what they are having. You can work on your passion, but you have to work passionately. And you have to do it with, you have to prove yourself first. Have some papers, have some patents, work with the society and come out. See, I did till now with my limited resources. If you want to extend further, if I want to extend further, I need more money. You please give me money. If you are a proven scientist, proven researcher, proven philanthropist, there is money internationally, crores and millions dollars of money is there. You can take it. When it comes to state central, you have DBT, DST, MHRD. This is Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, Human Resource Development, Atomic Energy, DRDO. DRDO funds for the nutrition development, I don't know. They have given fund for developing a bar which gives high energy, very high energy for the soldiers who work in the borders. See, that is a social cause. It should not get spoiled. And they have come out with chapatis which can be stored for 3 months without spoiling it. Packing will be like that. They cannot carry huge amount of food when they are doing war. They need a small amount of food, but which gives a lot of energy. For that, DRDO funds. And if you can come out with some magical cream which can be applied onto their wound, immediately it should go off, which can avoid your snow bites. When they go in the very cold atmospheres, they will get gangrenes in their feet. If we can come out some solutions, DRDO funds. In state, you have ITBT department, science and technology. In ITBT department, there are so many funds which have been released every year for the people, even students. If you want to do student project, 30,000 is being given for a student project. They advertise. You have to, even SPP project last date has got over recently. Agriculture, there are a lot of funds for rural innovations and tourism, culture, education. I already told you, sky is the limit. You can apply funds for anything, but your cost should be good and your implementation potential should be good so that you can get it. There are consortiums which gives, like, for example, institutional internal disability and development. If you can come out with a chair, if you can come out with some other physiotherapy equipment, if you come out with some other thing like for blind children, for physically disabled people, these are the people who gives a lot of funds to do that work. And there are institutions like Tata Trust, Reliance, Infosys Foundation, even Hindustan Unilever Limited. These people give funds for studies, funds for research, funds for awareness, funds for social cause. Individuals like Mark Zuckerberg, Blackstone Stephen, Ajim Premji, Chris Gopalakrishnan. See, you can see the paper clipping. Bangalore boy bags US Science Prize, which wins around 2.9 crores. And you can see there is one more clipping here. He won 3 million fundamental physics prize, which is double the Nobel Prize. Double the Nobel Prize. Imagine the opportunities. Imagine, know the opportunities. Try to grab it. Don't close your eyes. Don't listen to this talk just because it is there in your syllabus. You have to write to your exam and pass. Try to take, every speaker is giving one or the other information to you. Try to take the information and try to utilize it. Our constitution has 2 types of grants, which I don't want to talk more because it is the constitutional provisions which have been made for grants that you can get in Google. See, what are the major national funding agencies in India? I will take 1 or 2 and I will give you examples for everything, which you can chose, and you can identify where you will fit in, and where, if you are a teacher, where you will fit in, if you are a student, where you will fit in, if you are a researcher, where you will fit in. This kind of things, you can get it from this national funding agencies. First one is DST. DST is an autonomous national agency, that is Department of Science and Technology. It gives funds for your studies, for doing individual projects. For women scientists, there is break-in career projects, or for researchers, there are projects on fundamental research. And one interesting thing I will tell you, in DST with industry, they will release certain challenges. For example, industry, while working on a product, for example, they are working on a fairness cream. At that time, they have some problem in that. They want to resolve that problem. What might be the problem? The problem is they might be thinking about having it not only have fairness cream, it should have anti-aging properties also. If anybody can come out with a solution for this, we will give you for researching and for proof of concept and for taking over, and we will give a share in the patenting, and royalty will also be given. This kind of challenges will be regularly posted in DST. Go and see in the DST website. And you have, if you want to get into IPR, that is patenting, DST Women Scientist C is there. If you want to do PDF in IASC, you have SERB PDFs. If you are an young scientist, if you want to get, you have that. You have incubator facility. If you want to file a patent, you have patent supporting facility. Everything is there in DST. It is there in DBT also, but DBT restricts to biotechnology based problems. DST, any science and technology. ICR and NABARD, they give subsidies also. If you want to grow medicinal plants, 70% subsidy. If you want to have a greenhouse, you can get subsidies in NABARD. That means only 20% money you need to pay, remaining 70% money they will give you. You have Ayush, that is Ayurveda, Yuddha, Sina, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. Here, whatever work you want to do, they give. I have taken projects in this also. That is National Medicinal Plant Board. There is one board under Ayush, which works only on medicinal plants. Do you know they give money if you want to translate something from Hindi to Sanskrit, or Sanskrit to Hindi, Hindi to Kannada, or whatever it is. If you think that a Charaka Samhita need to be translated into local language, that is in Telugu or in Kannada or in Tamil, they give money for that. There are many projects in Ayush and NMPP. You can take the advantage of it. ICMR is Indian Council for Medicinal Research. You can work in any area of medicinal research. You can get the projects. You have Ministry of Environmental and Forest. Whatever is related to environment and forest, it may be an ETP plant, it may be a quick solution for kitchen waste decomposition, or it may be a solution for industrial waste management. You can get funds from this. You have UGC AICT, they give funds for both basic and applied research. You have Ministry of Food Processing, DRDO, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Women and Child Development, and there are private funding agencies like Merck, Unilever, Glaxo, Gates Foundation, TCS. I told you, there are more than 1,000 agencies which are giving funds for your research, for your entrepreneurship. The list is never ending. It is a very huge list. You need to really do a lot of work. Government of Karnataka, I want to mention about one interesting funding even today, that Elevate selections are going on. What do you mean by Elevate and idea to POC? It is POC means proof of concept. Idea to proof of concept. Elevate means they are giving you a hand holding to elevate yourself. That is why it has been named as Elevate. There are more than 500 projects funded by Government of Karnataka alone. Government of Karnataka alone. Elevate, if you have a wonderful idea in any area, it may be in culture, it need not be science and technology. It may be anything under the sky. If you just send a proposal, they advertise actually. They advertise, if you send a proposal, they will call you for a presentation. If they like the presentation, there will be a jury. You will be given with 50 lakhs. This 10 lakhs is, 50 lakhs is maximum limit. 10 lakhs, they will give in 5 installments. This 10 lakhs you have to utilize. This, you can see our then Science and Technology Minister, now Science and Technology Minister is Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan. And this particular thing is being supported like anything. Government of Karnataka, they give lot of hand holding for the entrepreneurs. You can take your first grant from this, and you have BIRAC, that is in DBT. You have BioNest, and you have BioCare. There are many things in DBT where you can secure funds and grants. See, let us, we try to just group these grants. I have just another 15-20 minutes of time. I just want to tell you, research grants, please concentrate on these areas like UGC, ICR, ICMR, DST, DBT, and CSIR. These fundings are much more in research grants. Scholarships for students. This J&K scholarships, if you are a Kashmiri student and you are studying in other states, for example, you are studying in Karnataka, you can get your complete funding for your education. You have to apply in J&K. It is Government of India supports students to go and pursue their education in other states. It is only for Jammu Kashmir students. And Unesco grants. If you want to go to present a paper in abroad, you don't have money, you can go for this Unesco grants. You have many other areas where Unesco grant covers. You have bilateral grants. What do you mean by this bilateral grants? For example, we have red sandalwood here. I already told you that is a plant which is available only in India. But the facility to work on this plant, to identify the genes which are responsible to produce that red sandal dye, which is a very, very expensive dye, and the color of the wood, why it is producing that color of the wood, and why it is slow growing. We want to make it faster growing. We want to incorporate genes into that. That facility may not be there in India. That facility may be there in US. At that time, you can go for bilateral grants. 50% work will happen here and 50% work will happen in India. Both the governments will support. Even for your travel, you can go to that particular institute and do your work. That is bilateral grant. Every time they advertise Indo-Korean grant, Indo-US grant, Indo-German grants, they will advertise, and at that time you have to apply. JSPS fellowship is the Japanese fellowship, and it is a huge money, and you can go and do your postdoctoral fellowship there, and you can do Humboldt fellowship, very, very rich fellowship this is. German, from studies in Germany, they give this Humboldt fellowship. These are all bilateral grants. And women scholarships and grants. If there are women entrepreneurs, women researchers, you can go and see DST, WOSA scheme. I have we have done 3 WOSA schemes. I myself has done. What is the benefit of it? You can get 55,000 rupees per month as a salary for 3 years, and you can get 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs of money to buy chemicals, travel, and to consumables, to buy some equipment, and that is there in DST. Here, up to 60 years, women are eligible. After 45 years, and after 25 years, certain particular schemes. And this is A scheme is for research, B scheme is for extension programs like societal benefits, C scheme is for IPR. If you are interested to pursue a career in IPR, they will train you for 1 month with a stipend of rupees. They will bear the expenditure, and later they will send you to an industry for 11 months for working on patent writing and grants. This is there in the WOSC scheme. And break-in career is there even in DBT. And single girl child scholarship in UGC. These are all certain women scholarships. Apart from that, there are many, many scholarships which I'm talking from the beginning of my talk. Now let us see. Now we understood that how grants can be secured. Now, in a quick nutshell, I will tell you what is the process. It's all good, ma'am. I want to apply for the grant and I want to secure the grant. What is the process of securing the grant? There will be a call for application. There will be sometimes throughout the year grants also. As soon as the COVID is stuck, within 24 hours, DST, DBT, and everybody around the world has called for proposals. If you want to identify anything if you want to work in COVID-19, we are ready to fund. How much money? Every grants have been stopped and it has been channelized only for COVID-19 development. Otherwise, we would not have got vaccine so early, so quickly. Because of this, it has happened. And directly funding agency, you have to write your proposal. And writing a grant proposal is an art. It needs a separate session, I'll tell you. It is an art. You need to do this with a lot of intricacies will be there. So many things they will ask. It may feel for you that they are asking repeatedly, but you have to give. They will ask for the hypothesis, how this proposal is being originated, and what is the funding you require, and how you are going to spend, what is the timeline you require, and when you are going to complete, what is the expected outcome, what you are expecting, and how you are going to prove that you are working, and what are the various timelines for each breakthrough. All these things they ask. After that, once you submit this project proposal, there will be internal evaluation by the agency. They will evaluate or send it to a task force who are going to sit and evaluate and say that whether your proposal is good or not. Once it has been shortlisted, they will call you for presenting your project. You may have to go there. Now it is happening online, and you have to give the presentation before the task force and the committee. They will ask certain questions, and sometimes with their experience, they will modify also. They may say that this is a very ambitious project. It may not happen within 3 years. You reduce the objectives, you reduce your thing, or they may say that it is too small. You can do this work also. They will suggest you. Sometimes you would have had for HPLC, they say that HPLC, you buy HPTLC. That is more useful for this. They may give you these suggestions, and with these modifications, they will sanction. Sometimes they will come to your place and see whether you are capable to do that grant or not. If it is 100 crores project, as Anuradha, if I apply, just like that, they will not sanction. They will come to the site visit, and they will see the implementing site, and they will sanction the grant. Once you get the acceptance, they will ask you to submit certain documents like your bank account, and you have to register yourself in DARPAN, or you have to register yourself in central government like your Aadhaar card, and you have to do all these things. Then they will issue the sanction order and release the grant amount. Yearly they release the grant amount, and every year you have to submit your proposal, your project work, progress of your work, and then you have to submit the utilization certificate. That means how you have utilized should be audited, and you have to give the statement of expenditure for what you have submitted. There will be different heads. Money given for manpower cannot be utilized for buying the chemicals. Money given for the chemicals cannot be utilized for your travel. Under whatever head, it is you who decided that you want to spend for this much of amount for manpower, this much of amount for chemicals, this much of amount for glassware, this much of amount for equipment, this much of amount for overheads. You have decided that. You have to stick on to that. You cannot bypass these things, and you have to submit annual follow annual procedures. Once you submit everything annually, they will be releasing grants, second installment, third installment. After that, you have to complete your project. It doesn't mean that you should always get positive results. You can get negative results also, because you don't know. You cannot imagine what it is going to happen. But in awareness camps and all, you need to expect the positive result. That means I have given awareness to this many people. And sometimes they will give money directly to the beneficiaries. If you say that I want to give the kits, like kits for their management of AIDS or tuberculosis, that kit will directly come to the beneficiary also. Okay, grant management is one thing you really need lot of attention, and you really need to do very systematically. You have to do it. You need to purchase the equipment within first year of the project sanction. You may say that I could not able to find a time because of COVID-19. I could not able to purchase. I want to buy in the second year or third year. Your work is based upon this equipment. How can you buy in the second year and third year? You have to buy in the first year itself. If you don't buy in the first year, they will ask back. See, there is one sanction order which is being given here. It is for Rajat Jayanti Vigyan Sancharak Fellowship given to the students. It is 12,000 per month for 1 year. It is the student amount. Who is going and doing the societal awareness? For them, you have to give every month 12,000 rupees. Travel, to go to those villages, travel amount of 15,000 rupees is being given. This need to be spent over the year. And if you get the honorarium for the mentor, if the mentor is working and they are guiding you, there will be honorarium for the mentor 20,000 rupees. And overheads is for unknown expenditure. When you go to that village, you may have to give some tea biscuits for that. All these things will be given in the unknown expenditure. Total of 2,29,000 rupees is being released for a student to do one project at Padma Shri. This is the Rajat Jayanti Vignan Sancharak Fellowship sanction order, which I am showing you. When you do this, it has been everything, whatever money you gave the bank account, for that only it will come, and everything will come to that particular thing only. Later, these grants are being utilized, and you need to submit the utilization statement and statement of expenditure. With this, we can take question and answers for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will move on to the next session, which is going to be a good session about food product development. You can wait for 5 minutes and you can get into that session, or if you have anything to discuss here, you can discuss. I thank all of you. It is 1 hour time is not sufficient for this grants and subsidies. If you are really interested, we can have a separate one-to-one session also. Anybody who is interested, they can come and meet me, or they can send a mail. I can guide you. I can support you to secure grants and funds. That's all for this today's talk. Thank you. If you have any questions and answers, go ahead.
Students, you can unmute yourself and ask question or type your questions in the chat box. Ma'am, it was wonderful session actually. Even though we are with you, so many things we don't know.
Thank you, Dr. Indu, Dr. Nagamani. Actually, it is being given for the benefit of students and staff. And it would have, many of you would have got benefited by listening to this, at least got inspired to secure the grants and get into the schemes. That will take off your burden. For example, as a scientist who is working with nature, I would like to have an excellent XLR camera where I want to go and buy. That may be my passion to do the research, but I will not have funds. In that time, definitely you can approach and get it. And you may need one excellent system for storing your. There is a question from Nagamani, that is, ma'am, suppose I have a research problem but do not have supporting publication. How can I apply? You can get into a tie-up with a person who is having the publication. They can be co-investigator. If co-investigator has got that particular area, because that is expertise, or you can have a mentor. If you are applying for women scientist project, if you have a mentor who is having specialization in particular thing, project will come to you only. Mentor will not get a single NP. You will be getting, but mentor should have that particular publication. You can go ahead like that. Any other questions?
Dr. Thanks. And that was, she's telling it's a very motivating talk.
Who is that? Okay, Shilpa. Okay. Okay, thank you, Shilpa.
Thanks for delivering an informative and inspiring for all of us. I hope everyone. And I thank. Any other questions, please? Ma'am is ready to answer. So if you have any questions, you can chat it in the chat box, or you can directly, if you raise your hand, we can unmute yourself. No queries? Okay, then let me remind you about today is the last day of this webinar, and we have the last session in the evening. It starts at 5:30 p.m.
Hey, no, now only.
Now only, ma'am.
Yes, 12.
As per the schedule, it is
No, it is.
5:30, ma'am.
No. It is 12. Indu, you can
It's
stop live streaming and you can start once he joins Indu.
Yeah.
All these discussions are going on.